Hey everybody, Mike here. Welcome to the channel. Well, in my last video I did some prop modeling where I did some traffic props, right? And it seemed that you guys liked that video because it was about how to easily make them and sell them online. Well, today we're going to do a follow-up on that video and we're going to look at industrial props. And if you Google that, you'll see that there are tons and tons and tons of props out there. And you can also see that they are sold. You got the Asset Store, you got CG Trader, you got Render Hub, Turbo Squid. So these are sold all over the place, right? So this is an overview of the props we're going to be doing today. Pretty straightforward, nevertheless, very easy to make and easy to sell, right? So let's get started. Alrighty, so we're in Maya and we're going to start off with our palette, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a polygon cube, open up the attribute editor, and I'm going to change the size, right, to, let's see, we're going to do width 8, we're going to do depth 10, and 1. Reason why is because a pallet is typically 1 meter by 80 centimeters, so that would kind of be the shape, right? So we have something to go by. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to create some boards. So we're going to take it again, another polygon cube. We're going to move that up. And it's not exact science, so don't beat yourself up if it's not absolutely spot on perfect. But you get the idea, right? So we're going to have something like this. So we're going to move that over right there. We're going to Control D to duplicate. We're going to move one over here. And let me turn on wireframe mode so you can see it better. So I got 2 so far. Let's turn off the grid. There you go. 2. Control D once again. And let's see how that pans out. All right. Shift D to do it again. Shift D, Shift D, and Shift D. Now we have to shift it around a little bit, which is okay. And keep in mind that a lot of these palettes have been repaired over time and they don't always look perfect, right? Just so you know. That looks pretty good. All right. Okay. Excuse me. So now that we have that, we are going to create some cubes. And we need those for the corners. Let me get rid of this guy. That's okay now. Let's move that up. And we're going to put one right there. We're going to put one there. And we're going to put one there. Okay. Then we're going to select 1, 2, and 3. Control D to duplicate. We're going to go here and we're going to hit Shift D. One more time, like this. All right. Then we're going to grab all of them. We're going to move them up like so. Then we're going to grab some more boards and we're going to copy them. So it's going to be this one, and that one. Control D to duplicate, move it down. After frame, you want right there. Okay. And we need to add 2 more boards. And they are going to be in between this layer, right? So I'm going to borrow one of them. Let's use that one. Control D, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it around like so. W, move it in here. We're going to move it down. After frame. There you have it. We're going to move it in here. And then we're going to go to vertex. And I'm going through it fairly fast, so just keep in mind when you're doing this, make it look nice, right? Especially if you want to sell it. All right, So we're going to go in here, and Shift D, we're going to go in here. Okay, now this will give you a kind of standard palette, right? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to drag select this thing, we're going to go to mesh and combine, and we're going to take the blocks in the middle. Actually, I should have done that first. So let's go to mesh and separate. We're going to drag select this and this, and we're going to move that here. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. All right, okay, so this is our palette now. Excuse me. We're going to drag select it, we're going to go in here, and we're going to add some ambient occlusion so you can see it a bit better. There you go. We're going to drag select the whole thing. We're going to go to mesh and combine. There you have it. So there's our palette. Now, next up what we're going to do is we're going to create a crate on top of the palette. All right. So for that, we're going to take a flat plate, if you will. So we're going to take a cube for that. We're going to raise that up, and we're going to scale that out until it fits our palette. Right click at a vertex, drag select, push it out like so. And of course we want to keep our original palette, so we're going to hit Control T to duplicate. We're going to move it over. So this is going to be on that one. Yeah. All right. Then we're going to go in and make it nice and flat. There you go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy, we're going to Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J, flip it upright. And this is not going to be a smooth crate, it's going to be something looking like the one here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to hit R to scale it out in this direction, W to move it in, move it up, make that a little bit thinner, like that, right? Then we're going to go in here, we're going to take this face, we're going to extrude, then we're going to change the offset to about there, I would say, maybe a bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we have that. Then we're going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to Control E to extrude, hit W to move out, something like this. Then we're going to take a cross section in there. So for that, I'm going to take another cube. Push it in like so. Then we're going to go to this view right here. For wireframe mode, let's turn off our grid. All right. And we're going to move that down here into that corner, and then we're going to go to vertex, drag select, move it up here, move it over here. There you go. We're going to go in here, we're going to grab it, and we're going to Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J, flip it around like so. Hit W, move it into that corner. So it gets something looking like this, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab it. We're going to go to Mesh and Combine. Control D to duplicate, E either rotate, hold on J, flip it around. Oh, we don't want the bottom there, sorry, my bad. I just want this guy. Yeah, okay, mesh and combine. We're going to control D, either rotate, hold on J, flip it around like so, move it to the edge. And that looks pretty good. Okay, now we need to make the sides fit. So again, control D, either rotate, hold on J. And there, we're gonna bring it in. Let's have a look right here. 4. Bring it in like this. What we're gonna do here is go into vertex mode. We're gonna drag select. Until we're right there. Go to object mode, drag it out, control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold on J once again, W to move out. Let's get it in the right position. Let's have a closer look. Something like this. Now, of course, we don't need these interfaces, so get rid of anything you don't need, right? But that's kind of standard procedure in 3D modeling anyway. I'm not going to do a full cleanup, but you know the drill, right? So any faces you don't need, take them out. The back of these crosses, same deal. I'll do one, just, you know. So you don't want those. It's all extra topology that you don't need, right? But for now, we're going to leave it, right? Okay, so we're going to take this guy, control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it up like so, bring it up to the top, move it. Let's have a look. This is going to go back just a smidge, if that's a thing. We're going to right click, we're going to go to vertex, we're going to drag select, and let me see. We're going to drag that in a little bit to you right there. Okay, now that's a certain style of crate you can go with if you want. You can make it completely flat on all sides if you want that. It kind of depends on your taste, right? I mean, you could even close it up entirely, but I kind of like this look. Okay, so let's say that's a lid that comes off, whatnot. All right, so that's our crate, that's our pallet. Next up, let's do a different type of crate, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take another polygon cube. Let me move this out of the way. And let's take a cube. Let's kind of stretch that out a little bit. Do something like this. Have to frame that. So we got that. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Hit W, move it over. Hit Shift D and Shift D. Then we're going to grab all 4, we're going to group them. I'm going to right click, go to vertex, drag select. That doesn't work in grouping, as I very well know. Mesh combine. So let's say that's the bottom that we're okay with, right? Okay, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J, W to move over, move that up a little bit. That looks fine, but let's say that this is a bit high. So we'll get rid of one of them. Take these three, Control D to duplicate, move it over to the other end. All right, Control D again, E to rotate again, bring that in here, F to frame, we're going to move that in here, and then we're going to go to vertex. Let's go to object mode, Control D once again. So a very, very simple crate. If you want to make it look believable, right, what you would need to do is put in a couple of cubes in the corners. So let's hit R, scale it up. Hit W, push that into the corner, and maybe make it a bit thinner. Okay, so we need to trim it a little bit. So you got one there. We're gonna excuse me, we're gonna Control D to duplicate. Put one in there. Control D, move them to these corners here. And in theory, you should have a few more. I mean, all boards can be connected to something. Almost all boards, even if they're connected to each other. I mean, down here, these would be nailed into this board. But if you want to be very complete, you would have another cube like this down here, right? I wouldn't add that geometry because if you have a bunch of these crates that are on top of each other or whatnot, nobody knows, right? Unless it's a close-up shot. So let's go to mesh and combine. We're going to go to vertex. We're going to drag select. We're going to push that down a little bit. So this would be a crate. Now the crate is a bit large. So let's take it. Let's go to mesh and combine. We're going to make it a bit smaller. And make sure everything is sitting on the ground plane. So let's scale that out. All right. Let's see if everything is sitting correctly. Okay, so this guy needs to move over. And then the whole thing needs to come down. This is our crate. And when you're going to set up a scene like this, excuse me, it's always cool to mix it up a little bit, right? So we're going to kind of twist this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to move up. We're going to have a pallet on top. And that's going to be somewhat twisted in another direction, right? Then you're going to have one that's kind of leaning on it. Right, so you push that forward, rotate that a little bit, and then you would move it in a position that it could actually lean on it. So let's move this over here. That's about right. That needs to be touching the floor. And there you go. So you'd have a couple of these pallets lying around. Excuse me. And then the crate, same deal. Control D. rotate that a little bit. We're going to move that on top. And then we'll have one more. So we'll take this guy, Control D, move that over here, rotate that a little bit. All right, so that's what we have so far. So we got a couple of pallets, we got a crate on a pallet, we got a couple of smaller crates. What else? Let's do an oil drum, right? So we'll take a polygon cylinder and we'll move that up, move that out. And keep in mind when you're doing stuff like this that scale is very, very important, right? If the scale is off, then it's unbelievable. Let's set that to 40. We're gonna scale it up a little bit, actually a lot. Let's eyeball it looking at the rest here. So let's get that in here. And yeah, I know the size of the pallet, right? It's 80 by 100. So this is, I would say, a pretty believable diameter. Height-wise, maybe something like this. Let's have another look. Let's see if I'm okay with that. This can be bigger. All right, so now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert Edge Loop, and we're going to put one in here near the top, near the bottom, and then we're going to go to Multiple and 3, and I want them right there, right? Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go in here to Edge, Face Mode, click and double click, click and double click holding Shift, Control E to extrude, 0.02, let's do 0.05, maybe a bit more, maybe 0.1. 0.1 should be fine. Okay, so we got that. Then we're going to go in here to Edge, double click, Shift double click, Shift double click. We're going to go to Edit Mesh and Bevel, set a small fraction. We're going to go in here, we're going to go to Face once again, hold on Shift. We're going to extrude 0.1. Then we're going to go and hit 3 on the keyboard, so we'll get something looking like this, right? Okay, we're going to go back, hit 1. We're going to go back in here to Faces, hold down your Tab key, make sure you get all of them. Control E to extrude, something like this. We're going to select this guy. Let's go to Mesh and Smooth. All right. Then you want some kind of opening on the top there, or something that you can open, I should say, right? So what we're going to do there is we're going to take a polygon cylinder. We're going to move that up, move that in here, scale it down, W to move it up, open up the attribute editor. We're going to set that to 5. We're going to hit R to scale, scale it down like so, stick it on top. And then to sell it, we're going to take another cylinder, move it over there, and it needs to be over here, F to frame, R to scale down, that's where we want it. We're going to move it up. Left frame again. Art of skill. All right. So that would be your oil drum, right? So we got one of them. We're going to go to mesh and combine. Going to control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold on J. I have one lying on the floor. Like this, right? And then what you can do is hit Control D to duplicate, move one out of here, rotate it again, W, move it a little bit, and we're going to put a dent in it, right? Just to make it a little bit more believable. I need to make sure it's touching the ground. Like that, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, we're going to right click, go to vertex, grab an area here, hit a B on the keyboard, increase that area, and then we're going to kind of push it in and create a dent in it, as you can see right here. And you can make that worse if you want, especially by doing that on the top here. Clearly damaged. Okay, so we got some pallets, we got a crate, we got some smaller crates, we got some oil drums. What else? The big barrels that hold, well, not barrels, I don't know what they're called. These guys that hold cable. Okay, so let's go and do that. And the thing here is these are usually made from wood. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a polygon cylinder as a reference, and we're going to scale that up, and I only need this as reference, right? So we're going to raise this up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some boards, and I'm going to mimic that shape. Okay, so we're going to take a polygon cube. We're going to jump to the top view, and I'm going to scale this, but they need to be much thicker, like so, right? Move that in, and then I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate, move it over there, Shift D again, and I'm just going to see if I can cover everything here. So let's, this is a copy, by the way. Okay, so we don't need these two. Get rid of those. Then we're going to take this, not that, this, that's kind of where we want to go, right? Okay, we're going to hit R to scale it out a little bit, like so. Actually, let's just go to the edge there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hit insert edge loop, go to 1, and we're going to add some, and let's do that here too, and here, and here, and here, and let's see how far we get. Okay, so we're going to take this guy, object mode, we're going to go to vertex, let's see, we don't need these faces, maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not sure yet. Let's go to vertex. We're gonna drag these, scale them in a lot. Okay, take the second one. And these are transported on big trucks. They are thrown around like crazy. They are damaged, so don't get too precise on it, right? The whole idea is to make them look a little bit damaged. That's pretty good. So what I'll do to save time is just reuse those. So I'm going to add these like this, these like that. Control D, go to mesh and combine. Control D, E to rotate, hold on J, flip it around. Hit W, move it in here. So that's pretty good. So we don't need this anymore. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna go to mesh and combine. E to rotate, hold on J, flip it on its side. Control D to duplicate, W to move. And let's rotate that a little bit. They don't need to be perfectly the same. Preferably not, actually. These are quite large, so we'll do something like this. Then we'll have a cylinder in the middle. So let's hit E and rotate it, push it up. Let's get this kind of centered. Yeah, we'll do that here. All right. And again, get rid of those interfaces, but stand up, clean up procedure, right? This is more to help you understand how you can make stuff like this. Now we got this whole thing. So in object mode, we're gonna select all of it. We're gonna go to mesh and combine. We're gonna move this so it's sitting on the ground. And we're going to put some cables on it, right? So we're going to take a polygon torus. We're going to move that, move it up, scale it out quite a bit. Go to the attribute editor, set the section radius to 0.1, 0.01, that's better. Let's do 0.05. And as we scale this down, it should become thin. Right, we're gonna rotate it down, hit W, move it in here, have a look from this view. After frame, R to scale. Let's get a mesh and smooth. All right. Then we're going to take this guy, hit W, move it over. Excuse me. Control D to duplicate. W to move. Then we're going to hit Shift D a bunch of times. And then we're going to take this guy, Control D, we're going to scale it up a little bit. And then we're going to Control D again, hit W, move it over. Control D, move it over. Couple of shifties, so it's like there's multiple layers of cable, right? So with that, we're gonna have this guy as a complete unit, and of course there's a lot of polys there, but you can do that in a couple of ways. You can have empty coils, you can use instances, you can do things like that, right? Control D to duplicate. Let's move this over. Hit rotate, rotate it, flip it on its side. And for that, we need to jump in here, go to object orientation, flip it on its side like so, push it down so it's sitting on the floor. There you have it. And there's one more detail that I want to add to this just to sell it, and that is we're going to take a polygon cube, move it over here, right here, scale it out, push it flat. So this is kind of like an identification plate where with numbers on it and that kind of thing, right? So let's go in here, after frame. Let's put that in here. Hold on X, snap it. Whatever you do, don't make it look too nice and clean because it won't be. So there you go, and then you can put one on the other one as well if you want. Something like this. We'll push it down a little bit, and whatever you do, don't leave it straight up, so just rotate that a little bit, right? So this is kind of our scene, right? So some pallets, crates, barrels, there you go. If you spend a little bit more time on it than I did, I'm sure you can make some clean looking props that are low poly enough for you to sell on sites like 3D CG Trader, Turbo Squid, and that kind of thing, right? So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys in the next video, right? Thanks for watching. Bye.